welcome to the podcast of Empowering Storytellers. We are very thrilled to initiate this podcast to really talk about how AI can empowering like storytelling and also helps everyone to tell their own story with AI. So today I am very honored to invite our keynote speaker yesterday at our Hong Kong USD AI Film Festival, Tony Ngai, who has professional experience in the Hong Kong film industry for over 15 years. And this is Sandy.
I'm a co-host and very happy to bring to the world the Empowering Storyteller podcast series. The goal for this series is to explore in the age of AI, what is the role of storyteller and what remains constant in this ever-evolving industry. We're very excited because Professor Anyi is a pioneer in the field of AI research and also in the applicable movie making industry, and then also very looking forward to speaking to our guest who requires no introduction. I think his history and contribution to the film industry in Hong Kong stretches over decades and decades, and he's really been the witness and the steward of the rise of an industry right from the beginning, and we're very honored to be able to speak to him at this point in time at the precipice of AI disrupting a century-old industry of storytellers. Tony, welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What did you think about the festival yesterday?
The festival, yeah.
And,
I think it's a very good start. It showcased what AI can be done with short film, basically, right? At this moment, right? Very impressive. I like the top one is Wētā, the short film about this soldier returning to
getting home.
That was very impressive. Usually when I go to festival or go to a trade show, it's not only the film festival, it's the people who are there.
Sure.
You know, I usually maximize opportunity to know the people, right? And I did. We are filmmaker, you know, principle of filmmaker is you get things done, right?
Indeed.
And then you have to find the right people. And one of my slogans is that nowadays with this rapid evolution of technology, what knowledge you know is important. Whom you know is equally important. Because you can't be specialist in all this different new technology. And each technology that's so deep in the professionalism, right? So you have to know the right people. I think the film festival not only very successful in terms of getting 700 films, you know, but also have very high quality. Getting the people, especially the local people, because we are talking how to incubate AI for local film industry. That is important.
The stories is like it's about human, right? The story is not like around the AI. So we wanted to hear the stories from people. When I turn to our first question of this podcast, how AI is currently being integrated into the professional film workflows, and at which stage are you seeing is the most immediate impact?
We're talking professional filmmaking, right?
Yeah.
In that domain, I'm talking about what we usually call theatrical release. That we're talking about films have stories, cinematic packaging, and they have a duration of at least 100 minutes. Or 90 minutes will do, but not less than 90 minutes, right? Either on the cinema screen or on TV screen. Currently, AI has been used by filmmakers, improving the efficiency of the workflow from script, you know, what they call script whiz, tag whiz, location whiz, and then there's widely adaptation, like those language translation or dubbing or caption to make it more specific. Wandering Earth, they have built up their own AI system to improve the efficiency. And then they use a DeepSeek R1. They use for 三引擎 and also NVIDIA. They build up their own intranet of AI and on asset management for their, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of crew.
Sure.
You know, so this part is already ongoing. The other side is that the effectiveness of AI in the filmmaking is not there yet. I talked to a VP of a major Hollywood studio. He said current AI tools, right, no matter what they are, there are three problems. The first problem is the control. You cannot control them. They control you. They can generate one frame, one scene at a time, right? That's one. The second thing is consistency. When you generate that frame, it's not very consistent. The third is continuity. For filmmaker, continuity is important, right? So these are things that kind of not friendly, you know, in terms of furnishing result on the theatrical. Having said that, I have this thinking, you know, not every film, not every 100 minutes should be done by AI for theatrical release. You can do it like scene by scene basis, as long as that application is applicable and gives you benefit in terms of efficiency, either time saving, money saving, visually is more preferred. So I think this kind of hybrid arrangement can be considered.
Sure, indeed. Previously, people set up all these crews for a good shot, but nowadays it's like AI can generate a bunch of it. It's very messy, and then your work become how to select. Right? As an SMPTE governor, do you see any like AI challenging existing production standards or promoting the creations of new ones or changing the way people think the creations?
First about standard, I'm sure the SMPTE, Society of Motion Picture Television Engineering, one of the main bodies that issue standard for motion imaging, motion picture, television, or even, I would say, distribution, right? I don't think they would launch AI standard yet because it's too complicated. And the legal side is another matter. But I'm sure that all the major players, including those Hollywood studios, they must be low profile and preparing for this war. They are now kind of very busy, mapping up their, the terms and conditions, right, among one another. On the filmmaker side, the world is free. You can use AI to do whatever you want to assist you, right? Because if you ask it to assist you as a tools for efficiency part, not to chunk out the content yet, right, for theatrical, it's a free world. Of course, I still say that creativity at this moment is still human driven. And then when I saw the two Wētā New Zealand specialists, they brightened my mind. They said, well, you should treat this AI machine as a companion. But this is very eye-opening. Eye-opening, right? Those trying to embrace AI, I think first thing is the attitude. They may have to consider it's not program and software is evolving. When I communicate with them, they don't talk like a machine. Actually, they start talking like a filmmaker. So we should consider them as a companion. The driver is still the human, whether it's above the line, which is the scriptwriter, the director, or the producer, or the cinematographer. And then in the due course of communicating, they may give you inspiration that you have not think of, because they have a wide range of database, right? At this moment, you have to be a key driver to take this advantage.
I have a question for both of you, actually. As time progresses, what do you think will remain constant in the filmmaking and storytelling process? I think a lot of the processes and workflows will change or no longer exist as this companion gets more and more powerful, but what remains constant and what will remain relevant?
I did research and I talked to filmmakers. I use them as focus group. I think at this moment, we still cannot predict because we're talking Hong Kong filmmaker, right? The filmmaker has not really engaged into heavy communication with the companion. So I think for Hong Kong filmmakers, of course somebody already volunteered, but I perceive that we are still in the initial stage of trying to find engagement. The future is shaped by the present and upcoming engagement. It's common sense, nothing complicated. I don't make it up, right? So, or let me make it in a human case. You met a new friend, but whether there is further development of your friendship really depends on whether you have engagement, some kind of interaction with the new friends, right? Same thing with the companion, right? One thing for sure is that there will be, evolution of how to use AI, right? But then I would say that one thing that people cannot argue about, which is I think universally true, is that people who know AI should be more competitive than people who don't. Correct? Right? This is a kind of motivation, right?
Yeah.
I hope that with your initiative and with certain filmmaker initiative, if we can bring you two together and closer, then it will speed up the process of this engagement. But of course, this is just my thinking. I don't know whether you think the same thing or maybe you say, oh, forget it.
I really love the word of engagement.
But
I also wanted to add one words to that. I think is because Sandy asked is what going to be constant, or we say it's going to be lasting. I would say it is like I think it's important is experience. It's like the experience of the creators. Think about AI. What AI is doing, AI is like a predict noisy stuff. I think the issue is about how you pick up a specific point. So the picking of this process comes out from the creator's experience. So I may guess this is also the same, probably in traditional filmmaking. It's like definitely for different shots, you have different decisions. But it's always about the specific decisions, how you pick up exactly that shot. Definitely come out from the experience of the creators.
Actually, I just feel in one thing. I think what is constant is the evolution of AI in filmmaking. This process is constant. The only uncertainty is the rate of change. The rate of evolution, right? But the rate of evolution is really dependent upon the engagement, right? So the AI, the knowledge introduced to them, to more of them, right? Whether they're young filmmaker or whether they are senior filmmaker, it doesn't matter. Most important thing is that you must catch their attention. And then once you catch their attention and then they want to try, and then how to help them starting the journey for those who have not started yet. For those who have started yet, you help them to run faster. And once they know the benefit, filmmaker is everywhere. Worldwide filmmaker, same thing. If there's a benefit, you don't need to push them. They would be more creative to see how they can use the benefit more than you can imagine.
Yes, I really liked this insight. And I think it will also inspire my teaching.
I think one thing Tony said was really interesting about how many of the Hong Kong established filmmakers are keen to jump onto this AI tool. And I think I've observed in Hollywood, there are obviously the really kind of CGI focused directors, and there are the ones that believes the human touch and words and other things are more important and more like camera and physical oriented. And I think that is so in Hollywood, I see there are directors with very firm school of thought about their philosophy about filmmaking. But one recent trip, I just came back from a trip in Africa, and there is an equivalent of Hengdian in Nigeria being set up called Nollywood.
Yes.
And in Nollywood, the adoption of AI is universal and really, really fast. Previously, they were making content that were a lot cheaper anyways, and we're doing very fast iteration, but AI has just accelerated the speed even more. So I wonder if this is a case where, in a place where the filmmaking industry is less established, they adopt new tech faster, and maybe Hong Kong's in the middle, it's quite established, there's lots of people with experience, and therefore people have stronger opinions about new technology.
Well, they are well-established filmmaker in Hong Kong. Some of them are very open-minded, right? But on the other hand, as you noticed, in recent years, the Hong Kong film industry for the cinema is really not performing very well. Of course, it's the same everywhere. So the government is trying to incubate new directors. They spend a lot of money doing this first initiative film, and then they have quite a bit of success of younger directors. They make really good films, right? So what I'm trying to say is that the role that I expect Professor doing is that marketing. You have to marketing what's the benefit. When I was in the commercial world, when I want to introduce a new product or service to a client who are not familiar with it, only three things very important. Firstly, what is AI? Second, why AI? Third, why UST?
Indeed.
Right? You have to do marketing, to across the board of whether it's a senior, middle age, or young filmmaker. In Hong Kong, there is an organization, a private organization called Federation of Hong Kong Filmmakers. The chair is a famous actor, Louis Koo, right? They have about 15 subcommittees. They comprises of every role you can imagine in the filmmaking. Directors Association, Script Association, Producer Association, Assistant Producer, and then the cinematographer, you name it, down to the post-production. These are the group that I urge that if professor is really, want to play a role in speed up the process. That's my thought. You can say no, I have no jurisdiction over you, you do whatever you want, right? But this is just my thought. I'm a filmmaker. I was trained like AI to respond to opportunity instead of to threat. right? When there's a new technology, there's always an opportunity part and always a threat part. If you keep up and make use of the new technology, you are in the opportunity side. So I think marketing is important. You have to do someone, at this moment, I thought you may be one of the candidates, will have to approach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And do marketing. As I say, only three things. What is AI? Why AI? Why me?
Indeed. This is really inspiring, and also I think this is you really echoes me. I mean, also the dilemmas or the difficulties that we face in our classroom. It's like students will ask, right, why I need to learn this, right? What I can earn from this? If what I learn cannot earn money for me, right? If I cannot find a job, why I need to learn it? If there is no money, if I even cannot get happiness, why I need to learn it? This is really, really important. I think that's also the goal of today's podcast. We really want to empowering them.
Yeah. That's right. In the year 2020, do research, and then I at that time I think Disney's Mandalorian was released. Season 1 was released in November. 2019. And then I saw the making of, and I said, hey guys, this is really a great opportunity for filmmaker. Why? Because game engine is giving you free to use that technology up to maybe March of this year. I think Epic Games starting charging, But then film industry, as I mentioned yesterday, is a very small industry. The current information in the internet is the international film industry box office revenues is only 30 billion US, right? Game is 183 billion, right? So with this huge game industry, they come up with this game engine and then offer you this infrastructure. So I think we better make use of it. Same thing like AI. I don't think film industry is powerful enough to invent their own AI. They put hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to do. Now you have these tools. How you make use of these tools, facilitator. That's why I think, some people who know the technology, you have to do a marketing to the filmmaker, but the filmmaker knows the business, knows what they want. But on top of that, I tell you, storytelling is international. If you know the storytelling skill, if you know the technology, if you can harness them both, you can do anything. On the business side, storytelling can be applicable not only for film, for corporate, corporate communication, marketing communication, right? Mass comm, right? Or for architecture. There's a lot of story about architecture. If you go to an Epic Games website, they have this called AEC, Architecture, Engineering and Construction. Make use of virtual asset. I think you can tell a lot of story like that, but then somebody have to do this first runner to do it. So it's really outside. Storytelling is universal. And then the tools are now here at your disposal. You don't have to pay millions of dollars to get this kind of software, whatever. So this is my far cry.
During, the past over 50 years, you definitely see a lot of technology transform how the story is told, right? Because in the past, people do chemistry, right? People use the film to do chemistry. And also people do mechanical engineering, right? People set up those studios, people working on that. And then CGI comes, right? Some people transform to computers, right? Nowadays AI, right? It can also do the work that you mentioned, like the script visualization, whatever. So what's your advice? To what do we mention, like the aliens or immigrants, right? In this field, because some students, coming to my class, some of them they already graduated from Beijing Film Academy, from the China Communication University of China, or some of them they already major in film in their bachelor. So they wanted to. So what's your advice? To them. To change the source of how it tackles. The AI.
Well, actually, to be honest, film industry is a very highly competitive industry, and also the recent declining of cinema chain. It's the place unless you really die hard for making film. Otherwise, you better think twice, because you have to find your bread and butter, right? If your bread and butter income is not a worry, then you can have this die hard dreaming for film. But as I say, storytelling is universal. If you have this storytelling technique that you learn from film, you embrace AI to see how you can improve the efficiency and hopefully improve the efficiency of the storytelling skill, and then transpose it to other industry.
Yeah.
Right? Every industry need to tell a story. As I say, you don't trust me, you go to Epic Games website, see what are their applications. That's the first thing I do.
Yeah.
Film, TV, live event, sport, automobile, digital twins, architecture.
Yeah.
You know, those why Epic Game is so interested to embrace all this into their website. These are the applications. Of course, there are much more. So look for the opportunity in those more industrial area. They can still also, they still need to tell story, even bank.
Yeah, keep open-minded.
Right? The return that you get from film, unless you are the leading star, like those famous stars, you know, they charge 10 million or 20 million US dollar per picture. Otherwise, the return to you as a filmmaker is really not comparative to what you have invested in your time, in your resources. But if you enjoy that and where your bread and butter have no problem, then you can do it, right? But you want to have how to say economic, like the students nowadays are very practical.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're themselves or their parents, they have kind of expectation, right? Then you have to find a plan B.
Yeah.
As I say, storytelling is a universal mechanism.
Yeah.
And every organization, every individual need to do storytelling. So find a place that you can hold on with your storytelling technique, embrace the technology. You may excel. You know?
Yeah.
That's
Indeed.
my thinking.
That's like the two keywords of our podcast, like AI, storytelling. These are all the basic techniques, whatever which industrials or you are taking, right? Even, I mean, in your company, you want to report to your boss, right? You also need like great storytelling skills. Please leave one question for Chris and Jackie. They will be the next interviewer.
They are expertise in the area, because if you can work in Wētā, boss of Wētā send them in, right? So they must have very important skill or expertise. Actually, we have a chat yesterday, right? I immediately spot that Jackie has an advantage. He can speak 普通话. And then they both acknowledge the role Jackie plays is that they can interact with the Chinese customer, right?
Yeah.
And Jackie is, I'm sure that he is a specialist and very smart too, right? So what's in for us, for people like us in Hong Kong? I'm telling them that if they can consider, see how could they help Hong Kong filmmakers in the deployment of AI. You have to, we call it synergy, get synergy among cross community, because each specialties have their own community, like game industry, like computer industry,
Yes.
like film industry, right? They're different people.
We need more bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to outreach and then cross community. Of course, you don't have to study every discipline. Forget it. You can't do it. As I say, what you know is important. Whom you know is equally important. You can't know everything, right? I have a challenging question for Jackie and Chris.
Yeah.
How are you going to help us, Hong Kong?
Sure. We will definitely lift to them.
In good terms, right?
Yeah.
Speed up the engagement of AI, embracing them in filmmaking industry. That's very practical.
Thanks.